Onto this story now. The Mokgoro inquiry resumes this morning, but we won't be hearing any testimony from former Bosasa executive Angelo Agrizzi. He was scheduled to elaborate on claims of bribery against senior prosecutors Mokgoro Jiba and Lawrence Mkhwebi. ENCA's Govin Whittles tells us why Agrizzi won't be taking the stand there at that inquiry. Govin, good morning to you. So, talk to us about this ruling that is now going to come from Judge Yvonne Mokgoro regarding the participation, or should we say non-participation, of Angelo Agrizzi.
Well, it's expected this morning, Oli, and today was supposed to be the day that Angelo Agrizzi took the stand here at the Mokgoro inquiry. Unfortunately, he's opted not to appear. Of course, it is optional, his appearance here at this inquiry, and that's because he's been arrested. In a letter that's been sent to the Mokgoro inquiry, he said, out of fear of it further incriminating himself after his arrest, he's opted not to appear. In response to that, the advocates for Advocate Lawrence Mkhwebi and Mokgoro Jiba have asked Justice Yvonne Mokgoro to provide some clarification about whether or not Angelo Agrizzi's affidavit, in which he makes those startling claims of bribery of advocates Mkhwebi and Jiba, and whether that affidavit will be allowed to be submitted here as evidence. That means that if it is allowed, that both Jiba and Mkhwebi would have to respond to those claims when they take the stand and present their evidence. So that ruling should come from Justice Mokgoro today, but of course they're all disappointed here at the inquiry that Agrizzi is not able to take the stand. In fact, the implication of him not being here, as explained by Jiba's lawyer Zola Majavu, is that the allegations that she received bribes may continue to hang over her even if this inquiry finds that she's fit to hold office, and on that basis there may be another inquiry to probe those allegations made by Agrizzi. So it's a tricky situation. It'll be interesting to see how Justice Mokgoro deals with it and whether or not that testimony or that affidavit with those claims is allowed here as evidence.
And as you correctly say, it's something that will linger on or hang over her, these claims of bribery against her. Surely it's in her best interests to make sure that those claims, that cloud, doesn't hang over her.
It is indeed, and she felt quite aggrieved by Agrizzi's decision not to appear here at the inquiry, in fact saying that he had made several statements about Advocate Jiba and Advocate Mkhwebi, referring to them as the snake and the snail, of course, and when he made those statements at the state capture inquiry, he didn't invoke his right not to appear so that he wouldn't incriminate himself, saying that it's quite convenient for him to say that he's not willing to appear now because he doesn't want to incriminate himself further. It's something that's created a lot of angst here at the inquiry, and it's difficult to see how they would be able to move forward without accepting his affidavit as evidence. Remember that though we may have had several witnesses here at the inquiry, there's a total of more than 20 affidavits that have been submitted to the panel for their consideration when they make up their mind on whether or not Advocates Mkhwebi and Jiba are fit to hold office. So even though Agrizzi is not appearing and he won't face any cross-examination based on the allegations that he made, it may still be that the affidavit in which he makes those allegations is allowed to be submitted, and then of course you would have to have a response from both Mkhwebi and Jiba.
And today, back on the stand, Willie Hofmeyr yet again.
It seems as if he's been here for quite some time. We've had Willie Hofmeyr appearing time after time to face cross-examination, but it's really because a lot of the allegations against Mkhwebi and Jiba are centered on his argument. He is, for lack of a better description, the star witness here at this inquiry, and he's made several startling allegations against Mkhwebi and Jiba, against their integrity, but also against the manner in which they operated their offices while in the NPA. So on Monday, we saw Advocate Norman cross-examining Advocate or Willie Hofmeyr and questioning his integrity related to the spy tapes case. Today, it'll be the turn of the advocate for Lawrence Mkhwebi to cross-examine Willie Hofmeyr. And the importance of this cannot be understated, because if Willie Hofmeyr's testimony is discredited, it would go a long way to disproving his theory that Mokgoro Jiba and Lawrence Mkhwebi are the reason why the NPA slid into a state of disaster, as he said. But if it is held up and it's accepted by the panel, it could be quite damaging to their bid to return to the NPA.